Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And the other day I had applied for a Wells Fargo credit card, and this is basically data points on what I experienced and how everything went. And so I actually got denied. Surprisingly, actually, my credit score is about 760 to 780, and yeah, they denied me. And like I said, this is data points for you guys. If you guys are looking, for any, I guess, Wells Fargo credit card. So basically, the process went. I did some research on Reddit and my FICO forms to first see exactly what credit agency does Wells Fargo pull from, and then on top of it, what are like the credit limits that people get approved for as well with with the my FICO and Reddit forms. And that's, I would always say, before applying for any credit card, always double check with those forms. I normally search like Wells Fargo and then the card and then denial or approval. So that's kind of what I do, and it gives me a better idea if I'm going to be approved for a card or not. For the most part, it also helps you just in case if some banks do have specific rules, such as like Chase, like 524 rules, or like Citi, I think they have a an inquiry rule, like how many hard pulls. So I would always go double check, and that's what I did with Wells Fargo. I double checked. This was actually going to be my first Wells Fargo card. I do not have any history with Wells Fargo at all. So the process went, I found the card, I did a little bit of research, I found what I was looking for, and then I went to proceed. And I was actually going to do a like a watch me apply video, but I didn't quite know how to do that just yet. But for the most part, I applied for the card and then entered all my information, hit submit, and then after submit, it came out as a denial. So kind of surprised a little bit. The last card I had applied for was 9 months ago, and I think like the oldest was, well, it's really old, but in the last 24 months, it was about a year and 11 months was when the card that I last applied for. So I was kind of confused, and then I ended up calling the reconsideration line, and this is where everything just kind of didn't make any sense. For the most part, whenever you apply for a card, sometimes you can get the application overturned. Now, you do have to make a phone call, talk to a credit specialist or credit analyst. That's what they're called. And for the most part, sometimes they can re-look at your information. It takes maybe either between, depending on the bank, it could take a couple of minutes, or I think with Citi, I think theirs takes a couple of days. So when I called the reconsideration line, I was talking to the rep, and it was, I don't think it was a credit analyst, it was like a customer service rep. And then I had asked if I could be transferred to a credit analyst. And he said, before that, we have to make sure, I guess, like your information is correct on the account. And I'm like, yeah, the information's correct. I just want to know if I can get the card a second review. And then for the most part, he told me to reach out. So, by the way, Wells Fargo, for me, pulled Equifax. And luckily with my Equifax report, I had 0 inquiries. Now I got 1 inquiry from a Wells Fargo. So here in California, they pulled Equifax. So, he told me to reach out to Equifax because from my understanding, he said that Equifax denied me. No, Wells Fargo denied me. Equifax is just a credit agency. So I wasn't really understanding the information there. And so I let one day go by, and then I recalled again. And so what they basically had told me was if there was any change on my Equifax credit report, then they'll take another look at the application. But there's no changes on my Equifax credit report. And the reason they denied me was they said I had too many cards in the last 24 months. So when I was looking through my Reddit and my FICO forms, recently I would always look at like how many months ago was these forms created. So on some of these forms, they're created between 10 months to 3 months ago. And I was also looking at some older, communications with Reddit and my FICO, and those were probably like a year to 3 years ago. So I'm assuming now Wells Fargo's doing a 24-month rule, and I try to actually get that information from the credit or the service representative that I was talking to. Sorry, there's a lot of bumps here. And he wasn't giving me that kind of information. He was like, oh, I'm sorry, I wouldn't be able to give you that just because I don't know. It's just, what the system does and what the system says. But similar to Chase, I think Wells Fargo is now going back to, or not back to, but they made some changes on their applications where I don't know the number. I think I did see one Reddit form, and a lot of people were saying that having 4 cards in the last 24 months is too much, and it's going to be an automatic. I saw in my FICO forms they were saying having 4 cards in the last 24 months, you were going to get denied. And so I have 5 new accounts in the last 24 months, and on my FICO forms or the Reddit forms, they're saying if you have 4 cards in the last 24 months, then you're going to get denied. So with Wells Fargo, I think now they're going off a 24-month rule, which it's my first inquiry on Equifax, so it's not that big of a deal, but for the most part it just sucks. But for the most part, I wanted to give you guys an update if you guys were looking to apply for Wells Fargo. Now, Wells Fargo doesn't really have very competitive cards, and then they do have a bad history. The only reason why I wanted a Wells Fargo card was because I already have a lot of cards from other issuers, and I don't have one from Wells Fargo, and I don't have one from Bank of America. And it was it was like you spend, I forgot how much it was, like $200, and you get it you spend $1,000 and you get like $200 back. So I was looking for something simple like that, something small, just to improve my credit. And that's basically it. Wanted to give you guys a heads up about Wells Fargo. From my experience, this is what I faced. So that's about it, guys. Anyways, take care.